Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Open Network User Group podcast. I'm Mark Tierney. I'm ONUG CTO. And today on the podcast, we're going to talk, what is the collaborative? What is the ONUG Collaborative? Will it be worth it? Are you worth it? You are. You're worth it. And you want to be happy, and you deserve to be happy. And that's why you need to listen today. But before we go there, listen up. ONUG Spring 2023. It's going to be a hybrid event. It's going to be in Dallas, Texas. That's right. My hometown, Union Station. It is May 17th and 18th. So come join the ONUG community of Global 2000 companies, tech execs, enterprise architects, infrastructure engineers, cloud providers, thought leaders, as we discuss and demonstrate the tenets of enterprise cloud security, cloud networking, policy. The list goes on. Go to onug.net to register for this event today. Use the promo code ONUG podcast, and we'll give you a truckload of money as a discount. I think it's like 20%. So go do it. Go do it right now. All right. So on the podcast today, a lot of people ask me, what is the ONUG Collaborative? What does that mean? What's it all about? Quite simply, the ONUG Collaborative is a community of IT leaders, practitioners, and we're focused on transforming the infrastructure of our organizations. Our purpose is to provide a platform for members to collaborate, share their best practices, and work together to drive industry-wide change. We bring together IT leaders from across different industries like finance, healthcare, but many others, and we collaborate on common challenges and opportunities related to digital transformation and everything, quite frankly. Whatever IT organizations are facing, whatever's creating toil, we get after it. The collaborative offers a variety of channels for each of the working groups. We publish blogs, we do playbooks, we write white papers, we podcast, and we participate in the ONUG conferences. There's 2 a year, 2 ONUG conferences per year, and the working groups report out on our progress. So the community can keep up with what's happening. And it helps all of our members stay informed and stay engaged, right? So the collaborative's primary goal is to drive industry-wide change by advocating for the adoption of these technologies and processes that can transform the way organizations operate. The collaborative aims to promote a culture of innovation and obviously collaboration, where our members can work to identify new opportunities and overcome their common challenges. All right. So the ONUG Collaborative provides a unique platform for our members to exchange these ideas, these best practices, learn from industry experts. In many cases, they are the industry experts, right? Build relationships with our peers. And in doing so, the collaborative aims to accelerate the pace of digital transformation and help organizations achieve their goals more quickly and efficiently, right? So I thought we'd highlight a couple of our teams. We have 5 working groups. I could talk a little bit about how we're organized. The ONUG Collaborative is directed by the ONUG Steering Committee, and the ONUG Steering Committee is made up of executives from both IT consumers and suppliers, and they give guidance on these initiatives that we collectively agree need to be addressed. And so right now we have 5 active working groups that are under the supervision of the ONUG Steering Committee. And they are the Automated Cloud Governance Working Group, which has to do with really everything cloud consumption oriented. We're working on something very specific in that group. I'm going to come back to it in a minute. Maybe the hottest thing we've got going right now is Policy as Code. We have a Policy as Code working group. I'm going to highlight that as well. We also have a Hyper Automation working group. I like to say the O&A, or Orchestration and Automation team, and the AI Ops team, they got together, they had a baby, and they created the Hyper Automation team. Really, really awesome team. With the Network Cloud working group, perhaps the oldest working group at ONUG. That was the team that drove a lot of industry standards in the SD-WAN space in the early days. I remember being a benefactor of that work back in my enterprise days. So fantastic team with great teammates on the Network Cloud team. And then we have the Cloud Native Security Working Group, which it's all about zero trust and driving home zero trust principles. So those are the 5 working groups that are under the supervision of the ONUG Steering Committee. And now I thought I'd highlight a little bit about what's happening in ACG, the Automated Cloud Governance Working Group, and Policy as Code. The Automated Cloud Governance Working Group is a fascinating team, and you could argue that while there's always been working groups at ONUG, ACG was really behind the birth of the collaborative itself. The CISOs from Raytheon, Cigna, FedEx, and others came to ONUG and said, we've got to collectively have a problem that needs to be worked on with regards to consuming multi-cloud. And so the team got together, formed, wrote a white paper that addresses several domains in the area of cloud governance and multi-cloud consumption. And the first thing that the team started working on was an open source initiative called the Cloud Security Notification Framework, which has everything to do with reducing the toil associated with disparate messaging security alerts, specifically coming from the CSPs. And that's how the Cloud Security Notification Framework was born. And to go into that a little bit, I'm going to show you a little highlight from ONUG Fall 2022, and you get a little flavor of what's going on there. So many people that are involved in bringing the Cloud Security Notification Framework to the market. What is it? What is the Cloud Security Notification Framework? It's here to solve what you might think is a very yeoman-oriented kind of problem. Why is it that in today's cloud marketplace we've got disparate messaging? Something as simple as all the CSPs report on security alerts differently. And what does that mean? It means we have challenges inside the SecOps rooms. And Preeti, why don't you kind of take us through a little bit what that means from a vision perspective?
Of course, correct. And Mark, you actually hit the point here, right? It's basically the toil that is there in the SecOps and the security operations area. It's so difficult to kind of consume different types of logs and alerts and outcomes and all consistently, like data across different cloud service providers. And there are like multiple categories here. SOC is one persona where it's very hard to get that expertise across and correlate all of these in a meaningful manner to get to the outcomes very quickly. That's a key challenge. The seed and source scenario is also like it's not standardized. Everybody has their own standards. That's yet another thing that adds to the toil. Furthermore, data lake scenarios are emerging, and it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry in the future. So that's like it's there, and this standardization and lack of standardization actually causes a lot of problems in terms of correlating and deriving meaningful insights. So it all boils down to the toil, and that's where all of this emerged from the consumer scenarios, and we have more of a vision in terms of building out an open community to bring together the producers and consumers to help solve these problems. So,
yes. So let me interrupt you there. So Peter, the toil issue, that's and can we bring this slide up for just a second? Yeah. So this is where, from a ONUG community perspective, we feel so empowered, right? When people like Daniel and Gene Sun from FedEx, when they come to ONUG as a community and say, solve this problem, like this is a real problem for us, it's easy to get behind that, right? Especially when you're affecting people in the room, like in the SecOps room, for you, for FedEx, for Fidelity, for Intuit, all these massive organizations. Tell us what you feel like the SecOps community is feeling in the room, Peter.
Well, I think, just to back up a little bit, your SOC teams, a lot of your SOC teams are not that familiar with cloud. So, I've spoken to a lot of customers, part of ONUG and other enterprise consumers, and one of their big struggles is cloud incident response and structuring their SOC to be able to address some of the uniqueness of cloud. And some of it is that variability that you and Preeti spoke of. All of the CSPs, do things a little bit differently. And that's what we're really trying to get at here. Is there a way that we can create really more of an abstraction on top of the different types of alerting formats, events, and streams that are being sent by each of the cloud service providers, and abstract that away to really simplify some of this for the SOC, not only to eliminate some of the toil, but if we can have a standardized data model, we can then apply better SOC automation to the problem.
Okay, but I'm glad you got to see that at ONUG Spring. You're going to see an update from the ACG team, and we're going to show you how the Cloud Security Notification Framework has been put into Splunkbase as CSNF as a standard in Splunkbase, soon to be available for all, and you'll be able to see how you can take advantage of CSNF inside of Splunkbase. But stay tuned, because it's coming on more platforms here in the future. So great work by the Automated Cloud Governance team. Way to go to everyone there. All right. The next is Policy as Code. Policy as Code working group is focused on developing best practices, frameworks, tools that enable organizations to implement policy as code. At ONUG, we operate under a connected community philosophy. It's not necessary for us to invent things when things are already invented. We want to take advantage of standards that already exist. For example, we're not trying to invent new standards when it simply isn't necessary. For example, in Policy as Code, there's already some excellent standards available that provide guidance for implementation of automation. Unfortunately, there's still many gaps in policy management and even confusion around basic terminology and data models. And this is where ONUG can bring our member resources to bear, solve those problems, create best practices that create lasting value, and in some cases, likely here in Policy as Code, create reference architectures that will help our members attack Policy as Code implementation and management for the long term. At ONUG Spring, you look for the Policy as Code working group. They'll be on the main stage doing a report out on the work that they're doing. It's going to be an excellent session. Okay, so that's it, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to share a little bit about what's going on in the ONUG Collaborative, give you a little insight into what the ONUG Collaborative is all about. We look forward to seeing you at ONUG. Don't forget, go to onug.net to register for the conference May 17th and 18th, Union Station in Dallas. Use the promo code ONUG Podcast, and we'll give you 20% off, like I said earlier. And but you can also go to onug.net and join the collaborative. Get involved. Be part of solving these problems. And we'll come up with some amazing solutions. We'll do it together. So on behalf of the ONUG community, thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you on the next ONUG podcast. Thanks, everybody.